everybody. I'm Cassidy, one of your Indianapolis Colts cheerleaders, and you're watching the Believe in Colts podcast.
Welcome back to Believe in Colts. I'm Lawrence Owen. With me, as usual, is my guys Jerraud Powers and Rodney McLeod. And today we are going to go over maybe the most embarrassing loss of the year so far against the Dallas Cowboys on primetime Sunday Night Football, where Indianapolis had this game really close, looked like they were going to come in for an upset, and then they end up dropping a 50-burger on the Indianapolis Colts in the fourth quarter, having, I think, 33 points, I think it was, in the fourth quarter alone. What was your initial reaction upon seeing the final score and what had happened, Jerraud?
Seeing the final, like I fell asleep the fourth quarter, so when I woke up and saw the score, I went back to look at the highlights of what happened in the fourth, and sometimes it I don't want to say it be like that sometimes, but sometimes it does. I played in a game to where everything just went wrong at the wrong time, and then when you look up at the score, it's almost just like embarrassing to even look at, but. The first three quarters that I did watch, man, I mean, we started fast. We haven't started fast all year on offense, and boom, we're starting fast. We're running the ball. We're throwing it deep. Defense is getting stops. Rodney's out there getting tackles for loss, PBUs. Could have had a pick one time that they I could have had that pick, but you just look like, initially I was like, man, the coach is about to upset these boys, and I couldn't wait to talk trash about the Cowboys because I'm not the biggest Cowboy fan, and all my friends and everybody else in America love the Cowboys, so I was getting ready to critique them and all that type of stuff, but it was some positives. I mean, I know the score don't dictate how things went or whatnot, but when you watch those first three quarters, man, I mean, we look like a team that got way more wins than what our record says right now. And then, but obviously when you turn the ball over, you throw interceptions, you're fumbling the ball, and, all those type of things, they capitalize on it. And that's what happened at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Rodney, I'll get your take in just a moment there. I'm going to go ahead and read that Basketball's Back and BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. You'll always find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends on BetOnline. And as your continued source for all your sports wagering information, BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and giveaways all season long. Always the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports and events, whether that's NFL, NBA, NHL, MMA, tennis, boxing, even golf. Head to betonline.ag to join. Receive your 50% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, to receive your rewards. BetOnline, where the game starts. Rodney, what was the difference between the first three quarters and the fourth quarter? What happened there to make that such a big change on what we saw on the field that day?
I think there's a few things. One thing you look at is level of execution, between us versus the Cowboys. There were several things defensively that we did, that we haven't done in some time, and didn't play sound ball. And that's across the board. And, when you play a great offense like the Cowboys, they will exploit, all of your mistakes. And, I also, myself personally had a few of those plays, whether it's bad eyes, bad technique, communications, right, issues, all of those things really came to the forefront in that fourth quarter when, honestly, as Jerraud knows, you want to be playing your best, especially when you talk about the score being 21-19 at the start of the fourth quarter. And that's why I think it's so disappointing and so hard to digest this win, is because we played so good, at least put ourselves in a position to win for three quarters. And, we talked about it. We haven't started fast collectively as a team, and we did that. And you felt as though things were going to work in our favor, right? The way that things were going, we were battling. It was that type of game. And so to see it all come down and the way it ended in that fourth quarter was heartbreaking. And then, of course, I think offensively, the turnovers, that will, cost you at any point of the game, let alone the fourth quarter. and one was also a defensive score. So, you add those two things in, execution, specifically defensively, that's all I can really speak to. And then, of course, the turnovers that are obvious offensively. I think that's what led to us losing, as large as we did on Sunday night.
Yeah. Jerraud, we were talking about this earlier before we got started. Fourth quarter, 4 straight turnovers by the offense and 4 straight touchdowns given up by the defense. That's not a recipe for success in any measure. How does this affect the team moving forward? Like, what are they doing this week? Or
I know it's a bye, but I mean, it's just like if we played our greatest game. I mean, it's week to week in the NFL. You can't rely on, success of the past or failure of the past. Only thing you can do is watch the tape, regroup. Whether I'm talking whether you coming back from a win or a loss, you got to watch the tape, regroup, try to figure out ways to get better and get ready for the next week. At the end of the day, yeah, it's a bad loss. Yeah, it puts a bad taste in your mouth, especially going into the bye week because it kind of lingers with you in the bye week. I'm pretty sure all those guys wish they can play this coming week just to get that feeling out. But since it's a bye, it kind of just holds on a little bit, but it's the same. Your routine, your method, everything that you do, it don't change. It's week to week. You figure out ways to get better, and then on Sunday you try to execute the best way that you can. Just like Rodney said, football is all about execution. It's not necessarily scheme. I mean, we're talking about professionals. All these guys are professionals. Every body on the 32 team rosters across the NFL. So it don't really matter the scheme or techniques, because everybody's running, similar things or relatable things. It's just about who can execute the best. And, like Rodney said, in the fourth quarter, we just didn't execute at a level that promotes winning football. And like when you turn the ball over, when you give up touchdowns, I mean, that's the recipe to lose. So you go back, watch the film, regroup, try to get better at things that you saw you need to get better at. And on Sunday, you're practicing and hoping that Sunday comes and you execute way better than you did the week before.
Absolutely. Now, obviously, again, we talked about walking into Dallas. You figure, the Colts will be playing against the refs as well. Most of the calls are going to go towards the Dallas Cowboys when you're in Dallas. But I felt like the Colts defense got robbed of a couple turnovers. I felt like there was an interception that they called an incomplete pass that I thought, to me, did never look like the ball hit the ground. And then there was the forced fumble that was clear when you saw it. Rodney, was there ever a moment on that forced fumble where any of the defensive guys was like, no, that's a fumble, hurry up and throw a flag, like someone say something or anything of that nature?
No, I think you're talking about the Rodney Thomas
where he rips
strip.
it out. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, where he ripped it out. But I think I feel like Dallas, he ended up recovering it. To my knowledge, I think the tight end still got it. So it didn't really have much effect. Obviously, if we get on that ball, of course, then I think you have to consider throwing a challenge flag. And then the other play that you talked about, with Zay, yeah, I really feel as though it was based on the call on the field that determined the outcome of that play. I think if they rule it a catch immediately, then we're sitting here, 2 turnovers on the day, 2 interceptions, and Zay has a pick. But I think because they called it incomplete, you know how it is. The evidence, you can say it didn't move, but is there enough to overturn? And like you said, man, I've been in Dallas a lot over my
Yes,
time with Philly, so I know how it goes there as well, if you know what I mean. But no, I think it was based on that call on the field. But it's unfortunate, man. Those you need, and it was one of those type of days, to be honest. And I go back to the first touchdown of the game. When I made the tackle, or I thought I made the tackle on Cedee Lamb, it just you do nothing but laugh on that play. But it's like from 3 to 7, just like that, and everybody on the field stopped, outside of him, and I'm inside, I'm laughing because I'm like, why is he still running? But turned out to be a touchdown.
So you was laughing. I was on the couch watching it with my kids and my oldest son. Because you see that stuff happen all the time where guys just continue to run, but the play's dead. So when he was running, I was just like, oh, he's down. But he kept running, and I didn't see a whistle. I was like, wait a minute. And then when they showed the replay, I said, oh, my gosh. Like, here we go.
I was like, yo, I can't do nothing better than that. Like 9 times out of 10, as a tackle.
Yeah.
Because I thought his shin, first I was like, no, his shin probably was on the ground. Then his elbow. And then when you watch the replay, I was like, man, that's just a hell of a play, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw. I was like, there's nothing you could have done, Rodney. It looked like perfect form tackle right there that you performed, and somehow Cedee just never touched the ground. Is there a situation now where guys maybe because, like you said, there was no whistle, so do guys just keep playing? Like I think it was Okereke that was sitting right there, and then just kind of stood there and watched Cedee get up.
If you look, everybody, their tight end stop. Like nobody, nobody's got. Everybody's like okay, and
my fault, my bad. But it's been situations where that type of stuff has happened, and a guy hits the guy. Like let's say if somebody would have hit Cedee Lamb, and then the ref was blowing it dead, that would have been a 15-yard, personal foul and all that. So you're kind of taught to kind of hold up in those situations, especially when you think that he's down in that manner. So.
Yep.
So in that situation, that really favors the offensive player at that point because the defense has to stand there and look at the ref and go, "Is it dead?" And then by then, Cedee's already
offensive league, man.
That sucks. That was a play that was just quite a few handfuls of plays in this game that kind of made you scratch your head, right?
Yeah.
Jerraud, what was some other stuff that went on in this game that you want to talk about in the first 3 quarters that you watched?
I thought that the first 3 quarters we had them figured out. You looked at, Dallas offense. Yeah, they got a good offense, good run game, got some passing threats. But it looked like Dak was frustrated because I used to always say in a Mike McCarthy system, it's like where the ball's kind of going. It's not a system to where he's gonna put a lot of onus on Dak to figure things out. It's either this read or that read type of thing. And, that's why I was just like, man, we're about to beat these boys. I was like, man, the offense is playing good. We're throwing the ball downfield. Alec Pearson caught a couple go balls and all that type of stuff. And then when you look at Dak's reactions to some of the play, because we were making play, we were getting stops, early on in the game, making plays. And he just looked like, oh my gosh, like, man, they got us kind of figured out a little bit. And then all of a sudden, boom, missed tackle here, missed tackle there, touchdown here, touchdown there, and then the score's just, it is what it is after that.
Yeah, there was a lot of missed tackles, especially in the fourth quarter. I was noticing, even in the first 3 quarters, like both those Cedee jet sweeps that he had, there was just a bunch of arm tackles that just did not go down. And what do you attribute to that? Is that with Cedee or is that like technical issue?
I think it was, man, very uncharacteristic of us as a defense. We pride ourselves on being a great tackling team, and I think that's what has allowed us to be one of the best is because we don't give up those yards after the catch. And Jerraud knows the value in that. And when it comes to yardage, man, yards after contact is huge, and we do a real good job at rallying to the football, just in case somebody does miss. Right, the next guy's able to. Finish it off, but more importantly, like we're good one-on-one tacklers, and I think you have a dynamic receiver like Cedee Lamb, and you understand the task at hand. You just have to. We had to find a way to get him on the ground, and he's going to make some plays, of course, but a lot of those, some were, like I said, very uncharacteristic of us, and so you got to credit them, and like I said, that was part of. That kind of that spiraling downhill, I guess, in the fourth, right? Is some of it's tackling and just the basic fundamentals that we usually are very sharp and thrive on, we struggled in a little bit. And so that was uncommon for us. But man, it's back to work. At the end of the day, we got a bye week. Rest a little bit, restore our minds and bodies, man, and get ready to come back for another a great challenge. You feel me? In this upcoming weeks. But yeah,
definitely. So, is there ever a time in a game like in this game where you start to see things kind of unravel, and in your mind you're trying to find a way to stop it from unraveling? And how do you go about doing something like that?
Yeah, that we was living that on Sunday.
Exactly.
Man, really, you really have to just flush everything that happened before. Like that's just how the game goes, man. Make a good play or a bad play, like you have to flush it and move on to the next. And momentum, of course, was on their side. You're trying to stop, the bleeding, I guess we should say. But you just got to keep encouraging, man, guys, and remind guys, who we are, pride, all those sorts of things, when we're talking defensively, just making sure, man, we're standing strong and trying to just do our part and things that we can control at the end of the day.
Yeah. Jerraud, you talked about how you had a game very similar to this in 2011, we believe, against the Saints, right? Where they just ran the score up on you big time. How did the team respond to that following week and during that week in practice and stuff?
I mean, like I said, you go back to work. I mean, it's your routine. I mean, sometimes the games just don't go the way that you expect them to go. When we played the Saints, they end up scoring, I want to say it was like 61 or something like that. And a lot of stuff, they were making contested catches. I mean, they were just doing everything. Everything was just going right. And it wasn't nothing that we can do to stop them. I mean, we were trying everything. And like I said, sometimes those type of things happen. It's not like you go back and you put your head down and you think you can't play in this league. I mean, you can get your butts kicked, on any given Sunday, and that's just how the NFL works. So you go back to work, you go do Monday work, you do Tuesday work, you do Wednesday work, and then when Sunday get there, you just hope you execute way better than you did the week before. Because like I said, it's a lot of time people jobs be on the line, man. You ain't got to motivate a guy to get better, because if he's not trying to get better week in, week out, no matter if your team is undefeated or if your team is defeated. I played, my rookie year, we go to the Super Bowl, we win 14 straight. You would have thought some of those weeks that we lost just because guys were trying to do certain things to get better and, just trying to do whatever they can because they see the bigger picture. They understand how everything works. So in this case, you don't want to lose 58 to whatever the score was the other night, or when I played 62 to 21 or whatever it was. You don't want to lose like that, but at the end of the day, you still believe in yourself and you believe in the work that you put in, and you just get to that next Sunday and just execute better.
Let's talk about a little bit of a positive note here. Stephon Gilmore with that interception. It looked like the defense was plumb determined to get him into the end zone on that. Could you take us through that play that was going on the field and everything that was going on through that?
Leverage.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's Gilly. Just being a perfectionist, man, and it's always in the right spot. You know what I'm saying? We call him low RPMs, but he's just seeing so much ball. It's like the Matrix for him out there. Like, you know what I'm saying, Neo? Like, everything is slow motion. And, he'll tell you just really relying on his technique. And it's a great example of that. Great leverage. Once you pick a leverage, keep a leverage. You know what I'm saying? He had outside leverage on that. Inside stem. I know initially, backside, they do like the dig concepts, but I'm sure the way the receiver was running, obviously he felt, hey, look, he's running a 7, kept held his ground, man, and was there to capitalize and make a play. Then, I don't know about the return skills. Five don't got it like how he used to have it. He tried to give us a little jump cut, a little burst. But that's all the old man had.
They say Father Time don't skip nobody. Don't
You feel
skip
me?
nobody.
You feel me? But
Gilly's a baller, man. Gilly's having a hell of a year.
Yeah, I was happy to see him get an interception. We've been talking about that, as a group, but particularly him and I about interceptions. You're like, bro, I cannot go a whole year with just one pick. And I'm like, I feel you. Like, I can't either. It's like, man, I feel like I'm playing good ball. I'm consistent. I'm getting pass breakups, but I'm not getting no ops at no interceptions. And literally, when Dak threw that ball down the seam, I was like, yes, because
You jumped it.
I
my gosh.
I baited him up
I
though
saw
because I showed cover 2, and then like we was in a whole different coverage. We're playing quarters, and I just took off. And I'm like, why didn't he throw it online? You feel me? Like, there's no way. Like, why didn't you?
Oh, man. I sure thought you was going to grab that one. I was like, man, then he throws it high. So,
yeah. But, yeah, man, I'm happy for 5. And hopefully we get more of that, in these last 4.
Absolutely. I mean, what was it, like 4 straight primetime games the Colts will be having, as we continue through now, or maybe not primetime, but nationally televised, right? We'll call it that.
Yep.
Now that
Saturday game.
Was that when you heard the news that game was flexed to Saturday? Did that surprise you at all?
Nothing really surprises me. I really was happy because I just was talking about how I never played on Saturday in the league. And so I'm going through a lot of firsts this year, to be honest, and just add another one to check off the box and say I've done it. So hoping, I can go out there, man, perform at a high level on the Saturday, take it back to the college days real quick. I haven't played on Saturday yet since college.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that's going to do it for our review of the Colts Cowboys, where the Cowboys had a fourth quarter that was good enough to beat the Colts by themselves, 33 points in the fourth quarter. I think that's going to do it for Jerraud Powers, myself, and Rodney McLeod here on Believe in Colts, brought to you by Bet Online. And until next time, as usual, go Colts.
Do you believe?